All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know folks from around the world are joining, so I just wanted to say hello from Laurel, Maryland, live from Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Lab here in Laurel, and Parsons Building 1, Parsons Auditorium. And this is our my name is Ashutosh Dutta. I work for Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Lab, but I'm also an IEEE volunteer. I am the chair for IEEE Industry Connection for Open RAN, and also the co-chair for IEEE Industry Connection 6G activities. And this is the third edition of IEEE Open RAN, and you're going to hear from the leaders of Open RAN from around the world, what's going on. There has been big momentum with Open RAN Alliance leading the way, and IEEE in its own niche way is trying to add momentum to that, and with recent deployment. And so 3 years back, we started this activity, and we're going to hear from Purva, Rajkotia, who's the director of IEEE Standards Association Telecom Practice. And about 2 years back, we also started 6G industry connection with the evolution of new cellular generation. We're in the midst of 5G, but there's a lot of research going on in 6G area. So we also wanted to see how we can contribute to that. So we'll spend about 15 minutes or so with some introductory slides before we head into the actual deep dive discussion. And as you see here, there are multiple things: Open RAN, 6G, and rapid reaction standardization activity. Since IEEE is open and neutral, we give a chance to folks around the world to contribute in whatever way they can. Could be students, could be faculty, could be researcher, anybody in the industry. So we created a new activity called Rapid Reaction Standards Activity that will allow folks around the world to contribute the new ideas. So tomorrow, 22nd of August, there will be discussion around some of those ideas. And some of them will be picked up by IEEE Standards Association to see if they can be standardized. So this is a way to give some, I think, idea and opportunity for folks around the world. And IEEE Standards Association has led this with help from some of our leaders, Rafis, Alex Kelman, and Mehmet Ulema. So with that, this is again for folks who are on site, the Wi-Fi instruction. And there are also seats in the front. The restrooms are right around the corner here. If you go out. And all right, so please, if you take a picture of this, or if you want to take it from the front desk, you can take it. So these are my co-hosts today, Purva Rajkotia, who is the director of IEEE SA Connectivity Telecom. He'll be speaking briefly later on. I'm Ashutosh, and besides my IEEE Standards Association thing, I'm also the founding co-chair for IEEE Future Network. So we try to work across organization unit to take care of various things. I'll also, while IEEE Standards Association is the main sponsor for this event, I'd like to acknowledge the technical co-sponsorship from Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Lab, IEEE Future Networks, IEEE Region 1, Region 2. I know there are about 1,200 people around the world have signed up to be online, and they will join at different points of time. And also, IEEE 5G 6G Innovation Testbed. There's a very new initiative we have started. There'll be a talk later on from my colleague Anwar, and Brad is here as well. I'm one of the co-chairs for that. So idea is to create some tangible 5G 6G innovation testbed where folks around the world, from academic startups, any companies, they don't have access, or they can collaborate, they like to collaborate with folks, they can do that. You're going to hear about that, and also data port from Rakesh. All right, so a little introduction again. Purva, I already introduced him, but just to give you an idea, folks, online. So he has been with IEEE SA for a long time. Before that, he also used to work for Qualcomm and other important organization. He has many patents and also been authored, got a master's degree from Georgia Tech, and he'll be speaking a little later. This is me. I've been with Johns Hopkins for the last 6 years. I also have another hat at Johns Hopkins School of Engineering, Director of Doctor of Engineering. And before that, I was in AT&T Labs and Bell Communication Research, startup called Nixon. I started my job with Columbia University, where I got my PhD as well. And then Dr. Mehmet Ulema, he is the co-chair for IEEE 6C Initiative for Industry Connection. And I have worked with Dr. Ulema for a long time. He's a professor. He used to be at Bell Communication Research. He is also member at large at Standards Association in the past, and also heads the Communication Society Standards Board right now. He has also written a very interesting book on fast responder. He got his PhD from Polytechnic University in New York, and bachelor's master's from Istanbul Technical University. So Mehmet will be on the call, although he won't be speaking tomorrow. He'll be joining Alex Gelman to talk about RRSA. So with that, I'll now hand it over to Purva to go through a few slides before I head into the agenda. Then I'll talk about the whole agenda for today. Purva? Just click that.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Purva Rajkotia, and I'll be giving a brief introduction about the IEEE activities and IEEE Standards Association. Within IEEE, I think people might not be aware there are many different OUs, many different activities, many different technical societies. The work that we are doing right now is within Standards Association, so I'll give you a brief introduction about IEEE SA. So the IEEE's mission, I think many of you might be aware, is for the advancement of technology for humanity. So that's the mission with which we know, with IEEE operates. We are the world's largest technical professional organization with more than 500,000 members in 190 countries. We are well known for our Wi-Fi standards, electricity infrastructure, and renewable energy standards, communications, Ethernet, and other emerging technologies. Now, the SA unit within IEEE, the mission and the goal for SA is to raise the world standards. Now, the way we do it is by creating spaces that would engage people from different parts of the world with diverse backgrounds to look to solve challenges and explore opportunities with emerging and evolving technologies. The idea about the SA is we want to develop standards that are market relevant, because at the end of the day, the success of any standard is how widely it's adopted or accepted. Because making a standard just for the sake of standard doesn't help the industry. We want to make sure that we develop standards that are for the industry, and because of which we'll be able to promote innovation, we'll be able to contribute to a sustainable future, and also help protect the public safety, health and well-being of the society. Now, as part of that, we actually offer a suite of programs that covers the entire standards development ecosystem and more. Now, within the IEEE SA domain, we actually have different practices. I lead the connectivity and telecom practice, and what Ashutosh mentioned about the O-RAN and 6G is basically a part of connectivity and telecom practice. The mission of our practice is that we want to provide the robust, responsible, and affordable connectivity to meet the ever-increasing data innovation across different domains and regions of the world. So, and the connectivity that we provide could be on wireline as well as wireless connections. To achieve that particular vision, we have like 3 different work streams. The first one is on rural communications, the second one is consumer, and the third one is industrial communications. Now, within these 3 work streams, we have 10 different initiatives. As you can see, 6G is one of them. We also have an initiative on 5G framework, quantum computing, open RAN, cybersecurity, the telecom standardization activities. Though it says in India, it's actually for any of the developing economies. And that's where we are actually doing the work on artificial intelligence and machine learning. We also have programs on telehealth, sustainability, the data quality standards, and rural connectivity. And as part of our practice, we involve with the regulations and the policies bodies worldwide. We also do the pilot projects, test trials, and demos. We actually have a test trial going on right now in India to provide connectivity to the villages and also empower the people when it comes to financial transactions or with education. We also do the thought leadership, blogs, white papers, training, and like the events, conferences, and webinars as part of our deliverables. And we do work with many of the IEEE societies that includes Future Networks, Computer Society, ComSoc, and 802. Now, the idea behind the work that we are doing as part of the practice is that we want to create a global standards. Like we want to collaborate with the industry at a global level. Now, for that, we are adhering to the World Trade Organization's principles. We also do the joint development and adoption work with ISO, IEC, JTC1. We also have the national standards that adoption agreements with countries like Australia, Costa Rica, Ecuador, Hungary, India, to name the few. And we have government engagement programs where we engage with more than 60 different agencies from 40 different countries worldwide. So again, this is the way we try to make sure that the standards that we develop gets global acceptance, and at the same time, we want to make sure that we understand the requirements that comes from different parts of the world that drives the standards development. Because we are aware of the fact that one solution is not going to be acceptable for all different parts of the world because of many different factors that goes, including financial factors, geography, topography, business models. So we want to make sure that whatever we develop as part of the standards addresses those disparities. And again, these are just a few of our programs that we have as part of our portfolio. Industry connections, I think Ashutosh mentioned about the Open RAN and 6G is part of the industry connections program. Now, this is basically the program that we have developed within SA, which works like an incubator. So any new technology or anything that you want to explore could be developed as part of the industry connections program. The work that's been done here is not constrained by any of the rigid laws. There is a lot of flexibility because we do understand when you are in a phase where you want to incubate new technologies, you need to be nimble, you need to be fast, you need to be more exploratory. So that is what the industry connections program actually provide you as a platform. Then you go to the standardization activities. Again, standardization is where normally the standards they get developed. Now, there we actually talks about these Robert rules of laws and all the processes and the rules and regulations that will go in terms of adopting the standardization. We also have membership, IEEE SA Open registries, just a few programs that we have as part of our portfolio. And these were my slides. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And I'll also send out my email address if you have any questions. But I'll again thank you so much for listening, and I'll hand it over to Ashutosh.
Thank you, Purva. So now that you got an idea about IEEE SA and industry connection specific, I'll just spend a few minutes before I hand it over to our first keynote speaker, Dr. Cellini, and she'll be remote. So there are two Open RAN, there are two activities Purva spoke about. One of them is Open RAN, and I'm the chair now, the vice chair, Ivan Sesker and Chatai, and Mithun is the secretary. We get excellent help from Purva and Rosalinda. And this is monthly we meet, and these are the different work items. we focus on. As I said in the outset, we like to contribute to the existing effort that's going on in ORAN Alliance and other places like 3GPP and Next Year Alliance, et cetera, to strengthen the deployment aspects or any kind of research R&D aspects. At the same time, having some proof of concept in the 5G 6G testbed that IEEE is building, and the RRSA type activities that we're doing recently to give an opportunity to the folks around the world to come up with new ideas that can be potentially standardized. So if you'd like to be a speaker, like to see what's going on, please send mail to oran@ieee.org, and you will get added to the list. So that's the first one. This summit is being conducted by these two working groups today. And then on the other one, 6G technology for connectivity and telecom, Dr. Mehmet Ulema is probably on the call today from Manhattan College, and myself, and Anuraj, University of Jaffna in Sri Lanka, he may be listening also, he's the secretary, and Purva and Rosalinda, we get a lot of help from them. There are 150 participants in this connection working group. Please send mail to 6g@ieee.org. And these are our work items. We get evaluated by IEEE Standards Association every year. They provide us some feedback as to what we should do, how we can change. So depending on your interest, please feel free to join. This is a relatively new one. So I'm going to continue to work. And in this regard, we also collaborate with Next Year Alliance and a lot of other 6G activities going around the world. Okay, now let's briefly agenda. So we kind of done with the first one, which in the process, and we have a tight agenda. Next one will be our keynote speaker, Jilin from China Mobile. She will be doing it remote, gap analysis alignment for 6G. Tracy Van Breckel from AT&T, my old colleague, she was supposed to be here today, but Tracy joining also remotely. Then we have Scott Poreski. I saw Scott walking in. She's been a frequent speaker in our Open RAN industry connection working group. She'll be talking about Zero Trust for Open RAN. Venki, my old colleague, been working with him in many IEEE activities from MITRE. He's been a frequent speaker as well. Open RAN Make-Enable Network as a sensor. Alex from Linux Foundation Ether project. We wanted to keep some open source component. We have copy break after that. Then we have Mary Selby from NSF US Ignite. She is going to talk about the power testbed, platform for advanced wireless research, how it is enabling the evolution of Open RAN. Rajiv Gopal from Hughes, around 5G Open RAN experience path towards 6G. Kamaki Sridhar from Avenir, future Proof 6G with Open RAN in 5G. My colleague, my co-chair, Anwar Al-Dolaimi from Beltris, is going to talk about 5G 6G innovation testbed. And Brad Kloja, the program director, is also in the front. If you want to know more about it, please let us know. Bob Stevens from Keysight, he's been also a frequent speaker, Open RAN frontal advanced spectrum sharing and channel modeling techniques. Lunch break. And then Arpit from Linux Foundation, we talk about Open RAN to open source RAN. Also towards deployment, Elogio, my colleague from IEEE, Virginia Tech. They've been doing a lot of good work, Open RAN, open programmable multi-vendor facility for experimental testing evaluation. Open 6G from Rajiv Gangula from Northeastern University Innovation Prototyping, again is an experimental type. Dr. Rakesh Kumar, from IEEE leader, he will be talking about data port. How do you take advantage of data port, which is an IEEE asset? If you're doing an experiment in Open RAN or 6G, where do you test it? If you want to try some simulation, do research, how do you get access to the data port, right? So he'll talk about that. Then we have a joint talk from Dominic from Verizon and DJ, our friend from MITRE, around application of 5G physical resource block blanking and spectrum agility and spectrum sharing. So it's a joint talk. And then Shumit Paul from Nixon, it's a cybersecurity company, talk about IML security next-gen networks. After that, we have best practice for installation of open radio units, VIB solution, Reja, Vias Gaimi, and Deepak Kataria from IEEE Future Networks, also IP Junction. He will be talking about RF-based intent-driven RAN automation. And then Taha Sajid from Security Pulse, used to be Comcast before, talk about optimizing security framework. So there's a combination of experimental security and framework type. Jorgen from Nokia Bell Labs, 60 technology platform challenges. David Griffith, Open Radio Access Network new metrology. And finally, we have time, I'll talk about some of the security monitoring work we are doing at the end. Then we'll have a reception. So that is the day one. And tomorrow will be day two. We'll come up with RRSA. It'll be a little bit different, more like an interactive type thing.